Winnipeg is back in the big leagues and over the moon.
Welcome to the Landing Strip with Nik and Mikey Garcia, presented by From Financial.
Welcome back to the Landing Strip, presented by From Financial, after the Winnipeg Jets put up another defensive clinic at 5-on-5 in this one and take a 2-0 series lead out of Winnipeg into St. Louis. There will be no gentleman's sweep this year. Mikey, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Man, I'm cruising. I'm just absolutely sitting back and chilling, watching this team outclass, outshine, outperform like it's Survivor, the St. Louis Blues right now. The scores look a little closer, than what I think is actually happening on the ice. I'm real confident still in my prediction, and I'm real happy with this team. They're killing it right now.
So, hey, 2-0 series lead. There will be no gentleman's sweep. The Winnipeg Jets won. A big one today. 2-1. Hit that shit, Mikey.
Let's go.
Hit that shit. St. Louis cannot play with this team at 5-on-5.
Can't hang.
Let's go. You didn't miss it. Is right, J-Pix. Hope you enjoyed the view for that one tonight. I saw him leaving the house tonight. Let's get this show on the road. Mikey, what is your big takeaway leaving this one tonight?
There's a whole bunch of individual players that I thought were absolutely great tonight, and I can't wait till we get to it. But just overall, the Jets system and their gameplay, again, 5-on-5 is just, man, it's a buzzsaw. It's whatever, awful cliche you can come up with. They are just grinding down the St. Louis Blues minute after minute, and it starts to show the deeper you get into games. So that was my kind of big takeaway, is just how good they've really started to come at St. Louis. The forecheck is working. They're getting in deep. It's real good. It's man, I'm just pumped after that one.
I'm gonna go to two individual players to start this off, and I'll let you steer the way from there. It is Mark Scheifele's playoffs, and we're just living in it. 55 has been an animal through two games. Obviously, involved in both goals again today. Now 5 points in this series. Clearly the Winnipeg Jets' best player so far at this point in the series. And what a sight to behold as we got another stare down today. Yeah. Joel Hofer just stayed on the ice forever, firing pucks at Mark Scheifele. And then Scheifele finally yelled at him. The crowd was booing it. Crowd started cheering at the end. But Mark Scheifele continues to show up in big moments in this series. It's kind of funny. Both of his goals are deflections, but both are from driving that net hard with that big goal to open this thing up. And then him getting in on the forecheck and taking control of that puck. It gets over to Iafallo, who finds that perfect low to high seam to Kyle Connor, who puts up his second straight game-winning goal after what I thought was a pretty quiet game from him. A little disjointed at times, but hey, you keep betting on 81 to put the puck in the back of the net, and he comes up big there. The other player I wanted to go as a big takeaway today, there's a couple on D actually, but welcome to the NHL playoffs. Dylan Samberg becomes a household name to her. Dylan Samberg today, with his stick especially defensively, was big. Comes up with a big stop in that PK in the first. Anytime it seemed like he got beat, he just makes the right play. I thought this was a defensive gem from Dylan Samberg tonight after some shaky parts of last game. He absolutely arrived in this one, and I'll let you kind of take it from there, Mikey.
Yeah, Dylan Samberg was absolutely noticeable as being the best defenseman on the ice tonight. If you take a look over at the ice time, I think Scott Arniel would agree, because Dylan Samberg is your leader in ice time by a few minutes, 5-on-5, and at just overall. The impact he's able to have in that top four, it can't be understated how important it is. You have two number one left side defensemen right now that could play on, a majority of teams and have a good impact. This is a luxury the Jets find themselves in, and they have to capitalize. And this is exactly how you do it on a night where he's going, where you're handling the game again. Even if the scoreboard looks a little closer than it should, you're handling that game, and you have an opportunity to have Dylan Sandberg continue to go out there and dominate those minutes. You let him do it. You can roll that way, and it's a great luxury. And he was absolutely noticeably the best defenseman on the ice for either team.
Yeah, great to see after some shaky effort last game. He was just a lockdown. You know who else on the D? Someone we've been kind of up and down with this year. I really like Dylan DeMello's start to this this playoff series. I thought he was really active with the stick as well, making stop-ups the other way. I thought he looked good on that PK. The PK is probably the one concern coming out of this still. Yeah. That's where St. Louis is making it a game. The Jets are so far and away the better team at 5-on-5 so far, that it's that specialty teams and a lot of soft whistles again. This is not the playoff refereeing I expected early on in the playoffs, but the PK comes up with some big stops down the stretch, but again, a little loose early in that game. Gets St. Louis back in it with 0.8 left. And safe to say there's a spot on the ice. They're looking to get Connor Hellebuck. Jimmy Snuggerud, that's his last name, right?
Snuggerud.
Snuggerud.
I fucking love that guy's name. Hate the player, love the name.
Too many bevies tonight. The stream might be off the rails. Finds that perfect corner with 0.8 left, and that was a bit demoralizing. But it is only the St. Louis power play right now that is keeping them around and keeping these scores tight. Obviously, I think at some point the Jets are going to need some depth scoring. That top line could only carry it so much, and they've done it through 2 games at a big level. But the PK is probably the one concern coming out of this.
Yeah, absolutely. The special teams in terms of the penalty kill needs to be addressed. They're going to have to figure something out, whether that's an adjustment in the personnel, but they got to figure something out. The one thing I will say though is they really did. They came around, right? I think they had 3 straight penalty kills, or was it 4 in the end that they were able to kill off. So. Yeah, early on it was starting to feel shaky again, but if they can continue on the way that they finished off this game, they'll be all right. Because that's the only way St. Louis is anywhere near these games at the moment is just sneaking in these kind of garbage power play goals.
You think KPM? You're completely right. They did stop 3 straight power plays, and it was huge down the stretch.
3 or 4, so it was pretty good, right?
Yeah, there was a ton of penalties and a couple of them. I didn't think, like, stands in the regular season, I get it because you're kind of giving it to a guy multiple times, but that last shot is pretty light. The Luke Shen one, I guess it's because the helmet comes off, but this is the stuff you see every year in the playoffs. That pair threw some big hits and the bodies were going around. Shout out Logan Stanley on Jordan Kyrou.
Broke him.
Did not have that one on the bingo card, and it wasn't quite the same impact, but it gave me a little bit of Mark Stone, Dustin Byfuglien vibes, and I gotta say, in house, I don't think I've ever felt that way about Logan Stanley before, and it was nice to see him jump up and make that hit on a great player like Jordan Kyrou. Really set the tempo. That building was rocking after that, and helped kind of turn that tide around. Let's dive into the chat a little bit. Choices TK had started the show off with some key points here. Checked off 2 important items. Winning 2 playoff games in a series and back-to-back wins in a series. Needed that after the last 2 years, which I think is a big thing for this team. I think that's a step forward, right?
Yep.
And both wins completely earned at that. Shutting it down in the third period, 2 games in a row and opportune scoring. Sandberg is just a stud. The anticipation, positioning, awareness, and such a good stick as well. DeMello renaissance has looked good the last 2 games. First line continues to come up huge. Shifley just going out of sight is a sight to behold, which we just kind of touched on all those points in the early goings here. It's great to see he was seeing the same things we were. Yep. Greg Zamzo on Sandberg says Sandberg's mobility for a big man is underappreciated by many. Yeah. Helly needed a strong game, but 3 or 4 top shelf goals feels like a pretty scout strategy. And that's where I was kind of getting at with the Jimmy Snuggerud. Yep. As I kind of weave through this. It's clear that is the spot on the ice they're looking to get. It's that left side flank, and they're going top corner. It's a great shot. It's a great shot attempt. It's a great spot on the ice, and the best guys in the league are going to score goals. But it's clear like that seems to be a set play. And we were talking in that series preview about the St. Louis Blues seem to create a lot of their offense from the left side of the ice. Looking at the shot maps here on Money Puck, everything for them was coming from that left side. Everything coming from the outside as the Jets kept it tight defensively.
Yep.
We'll take that.
Absolutely.
We'll take that.
And even on that goal, Pionk is creating quite a screen for Hellebuck. When you go back and watch the replays later, like he's right in that line of view. He doesn't quite get over enough to get the shot block, which is what he's going for, right? Like he's going to block the shot. It's just that he gets it off beforehand, and he happens to be in Hellebuck's line of sight there. So it's maybe a bit of a pre-scouting report, right? Looking for that high side, but it's even hard for me to fault Hellebuck for that goal today.
J-Pix wants to talk about LS64 today. Stupid penalty, bad TO in the first, but otherwise good today. And there were some times, man, I like to see him jump into some of that open space. I will say that pair still concerns me going into St. Louis, where St. Louis is going to control the matchups more. But I thought this was a standout night for what I would expect from Logan Stanley. Obviously, that Kyrou hit's going to be playing on everybody's screens and phones for the next 3 days here as we wait for the 2-day delay here. But I thought this was a better game from Stan, and he did it all in under 10 minutes. I think it was Ethan
10:07. 10 minutes, so, 7 seconds.
You limited his ice time. Yep. You got some physical impact out of it. You take that. Take that.
He played 10 minutes total. He had no specialty teams minutes today. And all of his starts came in the neutral zone. So they kept him out of the defensive zone. They sheltered where he was playing. They kept the minutes down, and he was able to do some really good things, both offensively. That huge hit was great, right? So, yeah, that's exactly, if you're going to have Logan Stanley in the lineup, if you want that size, if you're set that is your guy, this is how you deploy him, right? You protect him as much as you can. You give him the opportunity to do the things that he does well, and try not to put him in situations that are going to, be harmful to both him and the team. So, yeah, I thought they did a great job of managing his minutes today. Like you said, different story once we get to St. Louis and Monty gets the last change. It's going to be real interesting to see how that works out. But again, if you're going to be limiting him to 10 minutes total in the game and those starts are coming in the neutral zone, yeah, that's how you manage it. And I think you can still fight off that last change with that.
And if you're going to get that kind of physical impact, I'll take that as well in a long playoff series. We got to get here, though, because obviously big talk coming out of game one, especially on a lot of the more national podcasts, was Hellebuck being shaky in game one. Let's see how he responds. We know how the narrative has been. So I'm going to start with JPix29, and I see Zooch40's going there on Twitch as well. JPix29, big takeaway. Great to see regular season Helly tonight. Big bounce back after last game. Looked like himself tonight. Hope and think we could see more of that going forward. Zooch40 says, big boring Helly tonight, exactly what we need. And you could kind of see it early. There. St. Louis had a couple of good looks early in that game, and he made a few pad saves, and it looked like he was comfortable. It was nice to kind of get those 4 or 5 saves in the first few minutes early, probably given a lot of that going on. And yeah, outside of a great shot from a great place on the ice that beats him in the one place that he's going to be beat. Great to see boring Helly back and taking care of business in the times that there was business to take care of. And you think of early in that game, a couple scrambles throughout. But again, I thought this was just a fantastic defensive effort from Winnipeg, limiting the quality the other way in a 2-1 hockey game.
Yeah, when we take a look at the shot maps, you pulled up Money Pucks. I was taking a look at Natural Stat Trick, and they pretty much matched up. The Jets were able to limit where the offense was coming from. They kept everything to that left side where Hellebuck could see. And the stuff that came through, he was able to be on top of. There was a run right at the beginning of the game, like you mentioned, where he had 3 opportunities in a row, and he pushed all 3 away, and the Jets were right there to clean up the rebounds a hell of a lot quicker than they were in game 1. So they managed that space a lot better today. And yeah, Hellebuck was dialed back in. Big boring Hellebuck is here. This is the one that we've seen all season long, and the Jets are going to be cruising through St. Louis if they can keep him playing at this pace.
I tend to agree with what Zooch40 says here. Going to need to rotate either Shen or Stan. We learned that you can't run your top guys too much or they'll get burnt out. And going onto the road is kind of the spot you'd want to see that kind of adjustment. I'm curious your thoughts on D-Labs points out here. Monty said after the game that the Jets made one more play than us. Is that how you saw this game? I know it's a 2-1 hockey game, but is that how you saw this one play out?
No, that's definitely not what happened. The score was way too flattering for St. Louis when you're actually watching the game itself. That's a coach protecting his guys, right? That's a coach looking at, and you know, if you want to say technically, yeah, technically that is true. Technically, the Jets scored one more goal than St. Louis did, and there was no overtime, so it ended there, right? He's not wrong, but that's just a coach protecting his guys. That's a coach trying to make sure they're feeling good and going back home. So, yeah, no, that's absolutely incorrect. The Jets were the better team, no question about it.
Yeah, no, I don't necessarily agree with that one at all. I guess it could be a takeaway at this time of the year when it's only a one-goal hockey game. But for me, it felt like the Winnipeg Jets were in control of this hockey game for a vast majority of it. They seem to dictate the physicality back on St. Louis this game, especially early on. Yeah, I'm not buying that one. I think that's a coach that is trying to keep his guys engaged here as they head back home. This is still a series. You won the two you needed at home. It's going to be some tight hockey games in St. Louis, but I think if you're looking at this from Winnipeg's perspective, you're controlling this series at 5-on-5. The PK could use some work. I thought there were some quality looks on the PP.
Yep.
But you just saw Dylan Sandberg arrive in a big way today. Top line J, Jordan in the chat. Dylan Sandberg's an effing stud. You saw that come out of play for Winnipeg today. I see Zuch 40's calling the Perfetti breakout, and I was calling it for this game, and he misses that wide open net. And the building, everyone thought he scored.
I wanted it so bad. Bad.
Once the first one goes for him, I think he's going to really parlay that into some sustained playoff success here. Yep. I think that's coming in this series, the way he's looked dangerous in this series. The top line, St. Louis has just had no match for so far. Mark Scheifele looks like he's playing at a level that is the best forward in this series. And shout out to Rat River Rebel. And I had agreed with his take going in that Mark Scheifele was going to need to play at a Conn Smythe winning level for this team to really go deep. And
that's right.
Through two games, he would be my pick. It's very early, but Mark Scheifele has arrived.
That's a good case for any player, right? Take the name or the front of the jersey off. Any player, 5 points in 2 games, you'd be like, yeah, that guy's in it.
And like, he's so engaged in it. Like, it's not even just like he's just finding points. Mark Scheifele is driving this bus right now. I just look at this series and how it's playing out, and I think the Winnipeg Jets are in really good shape. Won't surprise me if St. Louis takes a game. Hey, they might even win both at home. I think the Winnipeg Jets are coming out of this series based on what I've seen through 2 games.
Yeah.
We'll see how there's some adjustments made, but hey, Velarde still might be back, who B. Kells is hoping to see. At this point, I'm thinking you keep winning. You just make sure he's healthy.
Yes.
You're in a good spot right now.
Yeah, you don't need to rush Velarde back. They're playing really well. They're handling them 5-on-5. Velarde's biggest impact, honestly, I think at the moment would be helping the power play back out again, trying to find that normalcy and that consistency again. Because between Velarde and Ehlers, those are arguably 2 of your most important pieces on that number 1 power play, and you're missing both right now. So if you can get one of those guys back, that'll definitely help the special teams. But yeah, I don't want to rush Velarde back. He can come back when he's fully healthy. They're handling St. Louis well right now. I still think St. Louis is going to win one of these games at home. I picked the Jets in 5. I'm still real comfortable on that one. But the Jets just, they feel like this is going to be, that they're not going to be in real danger of this going too long.
And I think Jordan, top line Jay, makes a good point here, and this is kind of what I was alluding here. Series doesn't start till a team wins one on the road, right? Like,
yep. Yeah, you're never in trouble till you lose at home.
You just got to feel really good about where the Winnipeg Jets have shown in those 2 wins.
Yeah, exactly. They're doing all the right things, right? On the broadcast, I know you didn't hear because you're at the game, but on the broadcast afterwards, I can't remember who it was, but when they're talking about Scheifele's goals these last couple games, they called them lucky bounces. He's got goals off of a couple lucky bounces. And again, while technically that's true, he's playing so well and at a level where he's putting himself into those positions. He's pressing hard. He's rushing the net. He's doing all of those things that you need to do to score goals. The fact that it's working out and going in is the bonus, right? Perfetti is buzzing. He's playing well. He's getting everything right there. When they start going in, it's going to look even better, but he's already doing those things. So yeah, this team is dialed in, man.
I see Turd Ferguson and Tico Napoli want to change all the awards names this year from the Hart to the Connor Harderbuck. the Prime Minister's trophy instead of the President's.
Excellent.
And now we want the Con Scheif. The way this thing's
Yes.
that flows pretty well. I like this take from Mike F 1010 over on Twitch. Nice to see you in the chat, Mike. Monty is trying to keep the mood light. Agreed. The joke about the whiteout shining off his bald head. He was singing
really
along. That was really good. I like that from him. I had to make a little meme with the Scully on. Didn't look too bad on him, actually. The joke about the whiteout shining off his bald head, he was singing along to the in-house music during the timeout with 2 minutes left. A lot of young players on that team. And I do think that is definitely in play here when you're looking at the one play away kind of thing. That wasn't how this hockey game played out in my eyes. B. Kelly's tunes in from St. Louis, is going to the games 3 and 4, I think.
Right on.
You got to make sure you got to call in after game 3 and let us know what the vibe is down in St. Louis, as we're always talking about what the whiteout's like. Would love to hear from you after the game, and it should be a good one with a series lead. Nice to go into that barn knowing that no matter what happens in that game, you're coming out ahead.
Hell yeah.
Zuch 40 was at his first whiteout playoff game. Can truthfully say the broadcast doesn't do the feeling noise justice. You know it's loud and intense when even outside doesn't how you think it's going to be. And that's something that was kind of going around, and I'm wondering if there's something going on with the sound with the broadcast, because there were some videos from Toronto that sounded a lot more impressive in arena than in the broadcast. And I know from experience being at those parties or whiteouts, there's no way you could do it justice on TV. It is absolutely electric in that place. It just nonstop noise. When that crowd gets chanting in unison, like that pregame MVP chant for Connor Hellebuck is so insane to experience. I couldn't imagine how I'd feel if I was that guy as it just parades down. And then, I'm a sucker. I'm an absolute sucker for the arena getting to do the anthem.
Yes, thank you.
Nice touch from Stacy. Very nice touch from Stacy. That was incredible.
Yes.
That was cool to be a part of.
It was funny. I commented that as we were watching the game here at home, that I much prefer when they can get the crowd singing the anthems as opposed to just the singer all the time. And, shout out to the choir teacher to, be conducting the crowd. That's great. That's something that they should be doing a lot more of. It's a real nice moment.
Okay, let's dive into the From Financial Face-Off before I see some interesting points from Al and Kevin I want to get to in this one. But let's move into the From Financial Face-Off. So what did you think was the difference in this one? What do you think is the difference moving into the series as we move into St. Louis? We want to hear from you. We'll open up those phone lines as we get working through here. Let's go to the From Financial Face-Off. Mikey, what was your From Financial Face-Off in this one?
So it's something that I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier. It's the Jets forecheck. They've really made a concentrated effort, and I think they even spoke about it in between the games, about really wanting to make sure that they were forechecking hard, that they were getting in behind the St. Louis Blues defense. And they brought that again today, just wave after wave after wave throughout the game, just grinding at the St. Louis Blues. It was absolutely effective again tonight. You can tell by the end of the game that the Blues are tired. They're exhausted. They're frustrated. We saw it boil over at the end of game 1 real bad. And I think as this series goes on, they're going to keep that pressure on and keep putting St. Louis off like that. So that was my From Financial Face-Off. Just another good night of just grinding away at the Blues.
So, of course, on a night we don't discuss it, we have a similar one. As I was talking to a couple of my buddies, Sean Murray, shout out, Chewy, Bryce Ramanoli, and we were standing in line at the Pisser after the game, and all anybody wanted to do was talk about the forecheck. And that game to me looked more like the Jets doing to St. Louis what the St. Louis Blues were doing to Winnipeg early on, where they were getting in there tough, especially in the neutral zone, and the Jets were kind of just throwing it away. I want to say when I looked up at the scoreboard, St. Louis had like 20 giveaways today. I thought the Jets were relentless on that forecheck, which really helped them establish down there. And I see Ethan KPM's along the same lines with us, so I'll start off with his from Financial Faceoff being F1 jamming the middle and pushing to the boards, and Blues having no solution. The Jets defensively kept them to the outside most of this game, outside the first few minutes of it. And on the forecheck, they were causing the Blues defense nothing but problems tonight.
Yep. So 23 giveaways at the final total. So yeah, absolutely. And we've got a caller as well, if you're ready.
Let's go.
Hey, caller. Thanks for holding. You're on the landing strip. What's your name and what's your from Financial Faceoff?
Hey, Mikey and Nik. It's Brendan calling again.
Hey, Brendan.
How's it going tonight, guys? It seems like the atmosphere is pretty rocking down in Winnipeg right now.
Hey, this is Winnipeg at its peak, man. This is the vibes, the atmosphere downtown are absolutely electric. It's been cool to be a part of both so far, and looks like we might have some more the way this thing's turning over so far.
Yeah, no doubt. At least we got one more game in Winnipeg for sure. Jets have clinched at least a game 6 at this point in this series. So, you play 500 over the next 4 and you're moving on. So that's something to be positive about. But yeah, my from financial has got to be the way they've played at 5-on-5 so far in these first 2 games, outscoring the Blues 5-1, I think, at 5-on-5, and just being really defensively unbreakable. The way Dylan Sandberg and our top 2 pairs have really just shut them down completely. It's really impressive. I also love, the play of Connor and Scheifele have really stepped up this series to start as well. 2-game winners from Kyle Connor in the first 2 games. The elite passing and playmaking abilities of Mark Scheifele. And that net drive today was that was something else. Just put his shoulder down, took the puck right to the net. And I was like, holy man, I knew he was quote unquote power forward, but when he can do that consistently and just drive the net, I really like our chances going deep in the playoffs. Also, that top line kind of exposing. Sorry, I know I'm getting on a lot of topics, but
keep it going.
That top line kind of exposing the top pair for St. Louis. I think he scored both the go-ahead goals against Fowler and Parenko, and that wasn't something I thought coming into this series that we'd do.
No, especially against that pair and how that line has kind of handled some groups like that who are really tight in the middle. But, hey, I'm right on the same lines with you. What this team is doing at 5-on-5, especially defensively, like you brought up early there, compared to what we saw last year at this time, is just so night and day. This team does look unbreakable at 5-on-5 defensively. It really is St. Louis's power play keeping these scores close. And with the effort you're getting out of Mark Scheifele, best player in this series by a mile so far. Kyle Connor, 2-game winners, just in the right time, right place, and he's going to bury the puck. That top line's been producing at a huge level, which we've talked about being a potential concern. They've erased that through 2 games so far. And yeah, the top 4 all deserve credit. I thought Pionk, we talked about Sandberg and DeMel early. I thought Pionk was good with his stick in breaking up plays. And Josh Morrissey just continues to be Josh Morrissey, settling things down when he needs to, jumping into the offense when he needs to, getting back on his horse when he needs to. Josh Morrissey's that guy for the Jets, and we didn't even talk about him yet. So I think you touched on a lot. And the way this team's playing, they're giving us every single reason to believe that they can go on a long run here.
Yeah, I'm still worried about their next round opponent. I don't know. Colorado looks like something that just came out of our nightmares. But, yep. That's going to be the really big test is the next series, I think. But, get through this one first. Keep your head down. Don't think about that. You can't think 2 weeks down the road. You've got to think about the next game. And that's what this team seems focused on. You don't hear anybody talking about, oh, well, we've won this series yet. It's on to game 3. It's focused on that. There's no celebration. There's no, oh, look what we've done kind of thing. It's all about the next one. And that's something that I think is a positive moving forward for them as well.
And they've had that mentality all year, and they continue to carry it into the games that matter. Hey, I'm all in on this group, this playoff run. You're getting me all in this group, and they're giving us every reason to trust and believe in them. It's been incredible to watch. Brendan, thank you for calling in, and thank you for being a part of this, man. It's always great to hear from you. Loved a lot of your takes tonight.
Have a great one, guys. Enjoy the rest of the show. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mikey, where do you want to go there?
Man, there was a lot
and
of
then we'll go back to the From Financial Faceoff. Yeah, a lot of great stuff.
A lot of really good stuff there. Morrissey continues to be just a quiet hero, right? Does so many good things throughout the game, and we barely get a chance to talk on him just because, one, we're so used to it, and two, go ahead.
I do want to add, because you're right, but I do want to add because I think Zooch 40 is right here too. He does so much good, and I don't think we've seen him break out into his top level yet. And Zooch 40 had mentioned that as another guy that hasn't even broken out yet.
There's another level
still there. Quality play from him, and we know that there's another level there. And I don't think the St. Louis Blues roster, especially on the back end, and great point from Brendan on that top line doing against the top pair there. The Blues don't have the talent level for another step. Like, they're giving the Jets a good run with what they have.
Absolutely. They're a good team. Monty has really put together a group that's effective at what they do. It's just that I think the Jets are all around better. And I think we're seeing that play out. The specialty teams are a little bit different, right? That's its own separate game within the game. St. Louis has done a great job capitalizing on those opportunities. But most of the game is played at 5-on-5, and the Jets are just a better operation 5-on-5. The two things I wanted to touch at real fast, and we can hop back into the From 5-on-5, or the From Financial Faceoff. 5-on-5's all in my mind now, man. Christ. Mark Scheifele, if Hofer thinks that he's getting into Scheifele's head by messing with his pregame thing at the beginning, he knows nothing about Mark Scheifele, like, at all. They've never spoken. He doesn't know anybody that knows him because you're just pissing him off, and he's going to play better that way. So, I don't know. Thanks, Hofer. Maybe he's from Winnipeg, right? So secretly he's trying to help us out. He's like, I know if I'll piss off Scheifele, he'll go off tonight. So, secret agent Joel Hofer, much appreciated. And for that top pairing, I don't know if you noticed, I think it was on the Scheifele goal, Parayko gets tangled up with Binnington. Was that the one? And ends up holding on to Benny's stick, and he was pissed. They showed a replay of it on the broadcast, and he was not happy at Parayko after that one.
Hey, that's the kind of stuff you want to see happening. Let's dive back into the From Financial Faceoff. Though I got to point out there, LA Kings 4-1 over Edmonton after 2.
Ooh, doggy.
Yeah, great start. Ethan says, Pionk love, wow. Hey, I'll give love to any of these guys if I feel they deserve it. I just don't like the contract, and we'll worry about that in the summer.
Yep.
Vibes are too good right now.
Yeah, different problem for later.
Yeah, From Financial Faceoff time. Helly bounced back from T. Konapali, and Kevin Lucier points out Helly saves in the first 5 minutes. And I thought that was a key moment for the Jets, for Hellebuck, for where this game went, was Hellebuck looking sound. Nice and early in this one, and then the Jets settled in and played Jets hockey. I like both of those. Kevin also points out, and killing the rest of the penalties. I know I was queasy the more those whistles started going for penalty kills. Yeah. And down this stretch, the Winnipeg Jets absolutely locked in on the PK, despite what it looked like early in this game. Huge moments in playoff series, like Tanev making a block on the foot, Barron pushing the play up the ice and just forcing them to keep resetting.
Yep.
All those little moments just have so much value at this time of year, and you're seeing the Jets buy into doing all those right things. JAD Gus Bus I thought had a great game in this one in his role. JAD's getting in tough on the forecheck. He's got a heavy shot too. But I thought
he fits on that fourth line seamlessly. He is absolutely. It's ridiculous that I can't believe he wasn't an option for the majority of the year. It's kind of it's a real nice piece right now with the Jets missing so many guys up front. To have the ability to field an entire NHL fourth line is a nice luxury.
Yeah, and this team has depth at forward like crazy as far as guys that could play in the show. But again, that's just another aspect to this. They're completely controlling the game at 5-on-5 without Nick Ehlers and without Gabe Velarde.
One more time for
Like,
me?
just think about that for a second.
Sorry,
they are completely controlling 5-on-5 play.
Yep.
Without Gabe Velarde and Nick Ehlers.
Yeah.
Like, they're still going to add that at some point in this playoffs, potentially, hopefully.
Two of your guys that produce some of their best minutes at 5-on-5. And also two of your key pieces on the penalty kill. Like, you're doing this to St. Louis with a third of your top six missing. Arguably two of the most important pieces when it comes to the just overall production and making that system work. It's not going to be fair once if they both come back in this round, which I don't think they both will. But even if you get Velarde back before the end of this series, it's night for St. Louis.
Imagine Game 5 back in Winnipeg, Gabe Velarde back in the lineup, and you seal the deal at home. That'd be fun.
Huge.
That'd be fun.
Huge.
Zooch 40s from Financial Faceoff is Helly being MVP. Helly is the key. Jets defending the middle of the ice allows him to be big and boring, and it is a nice synchronicity between the system and Connor Hellebuck's strengths.
Yeah.
Big Papa, nice to see you in the chat. From Financial Faceoff being easy pickings, but 55 being the best player in the entire playoffs so far.
Hard to argue.
I'll let you jump in there. Sorry, I cut you off.
No worries. Hard to argue with that, right? It's not just the points, it's the tenacity, the overall play. He's taken on the hard minutes. He's taken on the opposition's top line and first pairing at home. It's been Mark, like you nailed it. It's been Mark Scheifele's playoffs, and we're all just here to watch.
We're just living in it. D-Labs25 said, from Financial Faceoff, game felt more free-flowing. Top line overpowered them, and Helly looked normal. Hard to disagree with any of that.
Ooh.
Mike Friesen's from Financial Faceoff. Loves seeing the 25-second shifts with 6 minutes left. Snuff St. Louis out when they were trying to push. And, hey, that's something that's the shift lengths has been a thing that's been a problem in past iterations of the Winnipeg Jets. Yeah. And everyone has just bought into doing the right things. As Trevor Mogan says it, workman-like victory, never in doubt. Everyone has been committed to their role and just going to work and doing the right things. And this series looks closer than it is in my estimation here. Yeah. It really is.
The scoreboard's doing a lot of favors for the Blues. It's kind of interesting. I think we've kind of hit the spot now where we can safely say Scott Arniel has the buy-in from this entire group. Everybody is absolutely willing to do their assigned role, no matter what it is, and they're doing it extremely well. They believe in it, and it shows on the ice. Like you said, if it wasn't for the special teams, these scores don't look anywhere near as close. And we're talking about, are they going to sweep? I don't think they're going to. I think St. Louis is going to be able to muster one at home. But yeah, I think Scott Arniel has really found the buy-in from this group. There's no locking him out of a locker room this time around. These guys seem to enjoy playing for him. They want to win, and it's really coming through.
Absolutely. JC over on YouTube says, how much better are they going to be with 13-27 in the lineup? Absolutely dominant. And I think that's what's interesting here. I think just from a mental aspect, and this team's been so dialed in all year that I believe they've found that right mental state, that right motivation, that right internal team commitment to what's going on, that I think there's already going to be a big boost coming from them getting over that first round hump that's been like haunting them the last bit here. And then you're talking about adding an impact player, potentially two, going into that next round. That's a huge boost in like morale, what they're feeling about them and stuff. I do think that the Winnipeg Jets could snowball a convincing first round victory, which I think they're on pace to do here, into a pretty big moving train here with just how it's set up to kind of get help as they go.
Yep. The only one spot that I would still kind of point at and just kind of go, okay, we need to make sure we keep an eye on is what Julian Labossiere points out over on YouTube. The big hits were great to make the monkey brain feel good, but Miller Shen really should be the third pairing we're seeing. And I agree. If maybe this round we're going to probably be fine with it against St. Louis, right? They're lacking a lot of speed to begin with, plus then they lose guys like Holloway, which really hurts that overall game. But when we get to the next round, knock on wood, fingers crossed, if I'm looking ahead a little bit, we're going to be having to probably play a team that's going to be bringing a hell of a lot more than that. So that's going to be something just to keep an eye on to see how that goes. I'm curious to see what that third pairing looks like in St. Louis. Maybe there's a world where Scott Arniel is going to cycle out one of those two guys and we see a slightly different look, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. I think we're just going to have to manage minutes within the game and see how that goes to start. But that is the one place I'm just going to keep my eye on, because everywhere else, especially up front, I'm going to take the Jets on a lot of nights.
Ethan KPM, to answer the question, do we have a stupid long break now or something? I believe it's 2 days in between until the next game, so like 3 days out or 3 evenings out.
Thursday.
It's a pretty lengthy, length out schedule for the Jets. I think there's 2-day breaks in this one.
Yep.
It could go up to like May 31st.
They could be the first ones to start and the last ones to finish if it goes all 7 games. But yeah, they have a couple breaks in between with an extra day because of both concert commitments at home and in St. Louis. So that's they're scheduling a little bit around it. So that's why you have these slightly longer breaks, because next game will be Thursday.
So I see Zooch40 leaving for the night, says love the game tonight, love the show, boys. I'm working early tomorrow, so cashing out so I don't have 2 days in a row, 4 hours of sleep. But he went somewhere I do find interesting, and it was a convo for me with a lot of people at the rink today when we were just talking at intermission, talking in the street party, whatnot. Said, haven't loved Appleton's game, which I think that's fair. He's been a little bit frustrating to me. And I was having a convo with Jordan earlier, and I want to hear what you think here. Zooch40 says he would replace Velarde. Use Velarde in that Appleton spot. And I think with the way the top line is going, the fact you're going to need depth scoring, that's where I've arrived. I think they just need to get more out of past just the top line and their dominance.
Yep.
And I'm oddly intrigued until Ehlers gets back to see what a Tanev, Lowry, Gabe Velarde line looks like. And I didn't have that on my bingo card. I think you need Tanev out there with the speed and physicality element. And him and Lowry are so good at getting on the forecheck and getting pucks to that slot area, and we know Gabe Velarde dominates there. I'm weirdly intrigued by it. I gotta admit.
So, yeah, I have some homework for everybody. So if you're listening right now on Thursday, when that game is going on, watch Mason Appleton the whole game and count how many opportunities he has that Adam Lowry sets him up into that are clear cut on net, puck on his stick opportunities.
On, bro?
For everybody, just take a little notepad every time Mason Appleton's on the ice. Just wait for it, and you're gonna come out with 4, 5, 6 times. Like, it's ridiculous. He gets in really good he gets in the right spot quite frequently. He can't buy a goal to save his life. He can't do it. He's got hands of stone. Those things aren't ever there. So
think about Velarde there, bro. That's what I'm saying.
And while I agree, I don't think Scott Arniel does either. So it'll be nice to have the lineup get the influx of talent up front.
Yeah.
Alex Iafallo is doing everything he can to keep that spot on that top line. I know Scott Arniel is going to be dropping Gabe Velarde back with his boys up top. They're going to run it back the way that it's been all season long, and we just got to hope they go on one of those heaters that they've been known to do.
Ethan KPM seeing the dream. Please put a finisher on his line, and I think Gabe would do it.
I agree. Lowry needs it, and if you could just give him anybody that's not Appleton. You ready for a call?
Yeah, I didn't even hear. Sorry. Yeah.
Nope. There they are. Hey, caller. Thanks for calling. You're on the landing strip.
What's going on, Mikey?
How you doing?
Not too bad. It's Jordan calling from Sinclair Park. How we doing tonight, fellas?
Jordan and Sinclair.
Jordan and Sinclair Park, we're doing well. How are you doing? You look a little out of it leaving the rink tonight.
Classic. Yeah, we're having a night. A couple things. Didn't even want to bring it up, but you guys are talking Appleton. Me and Nick were always told growing up, don't worry when the chances start coming, or don't worry when you're not burying the chances, worry when they stop coming.
Yep.
But I'm starting to worry with the chances of Appleton. Like, there's that that one-timer in the first. If that's 55 there, it's probably in.
If it's any competent NHLer, it's probably in.
No. I'm going to give Bennington credit on that one. That was a nice save. He got
There-
over. I thought Alfred got a
quality
lot of that.
save, but there was half a net still open.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to get to, what a coming out party for 54.
Oh, tonight. Whew.
Every play, he just got a stick on everything. It was incredible.
Anytime it looked like someone had a step on him, and anytime it looked like there was going to be a chance, all of a sudden Dylan Sandberg's stick was there to poke it away or break everything up. Like, he was an absolute vacuum today. We talk about this idea he's on the Slavin trajectory. That looked like a Jacob Slavin game to me.
Yeah.
Being there tonight.
Yeah, that was like a Slavin at the Four Nations. You know, he was kind of the big coming out name at the Four Nations. That was a Slavin at the Four Nations. That was Sandberg tonight.
Yeah.
And he's so big for this team and where it wants to go. And we saw that arrival tonight. When I saw he wasn't even in the top 10 defensive players list that Jay Fresh did the fan polling.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's going to be the household name leaving this playoffs if the Jets go deep. Dylan Sandberg's going to become that guy.
Also, shout out Gabe Velarde. Don't play him until the Blues win a game, and that's all I got tonight, fellas.
Hell yeah.
What'd you think, before you leave, what'd you think of the idea of Tanev with Velarde and Lowry?
It's interesting. I know we talked earlier. I saw someone talking Perfetti, Lowry, and Velarde. I just think that would be too slow. So I think you need someone there to kind of pick up the pace. So I could see it.
And I don't think they'll make that many big switches. Like, I think they're pretty content with Nemestikov, Nino, Perfetti being the third line moving forward. So it brings some interesting ideas if the Jets get fully healthy.
Yeah, I can see it. Don't got much for you. Hope some other people call in. Have a night, fellas.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Joe. Have a great night, eh? Here's a banger of a stat. Talking about what we just talked to, you want to put a number behind it. Thank you, Choices TK. 5-on-5 zone entry denials tonight. Dylan Sandberg, 14.
Yeah. Absolutely unreal.
14.
He swallowed everything up at that blue line. There was nothing coming through clean tonight. He shut it right down. If you're a fan of defensive hockey, that is, you came away from that game just soaking wet.
Hey, yeah. Paul Maurice pulled out the old coach's porn when it came to Dylan DeMello.
It was Dylan Sandberg tonight.
Dylan Sandberg's become my coach's porn as far as watching a game. If I wanted to coach a player, it'd be Dylan Sandberg. Like,
nailed it.
I was talking to someone at the street party on Monday before the game, and we were kind of talking about it. We were talking for like 15 minutes about everything around the team, and we started getting onto how Josh Morrissey was ranked number 2 on Dom's model this year for impact for a defenseman. And how it's just become so undersold because how much we appreciate the emergence of Dylan Sandberg. It's almost overrode Josh Morrissey's story. Because Dylan Sandberg, and Al Camino says it here, Jets finally drafted someone good in the second round with Sandberg. His emergence has meant everything to changing this team's trajectory on the back end. To have 2 top pairing level guys and a guy that can do that in a playoff game and just completely swallow everything up, not get beat at all, it is massive.
It's huge. You ready for the next call?
Let's go.
Hey, caller, thanks for holding. You're on the landing strip. What's your name and what would you like to talk about?
Riley, I'm just going to say this. What a fucking game.
Hell yeah.
Physical, low scoring, had to fight for every inch of ice. St. Louis didn't seem to generate much unless they were on the power play. And Jets just controlled most of the game. Seemed like we were spending most of it in their end. And, yeah, like just physical, true playoff hockey. What a game.
Riley, before you head off here, because I love the energy. I'm feeling that. Like, yeah, fucking right. What a hockey game. What a playoff hockey game for this team to win and play out. Could you imagine this team of winning a game that looked like this 3 years ago?
No, I couldn't.
This ain't 2019 anymore. This ain't 2020. This ain't 2021. This ain't 2022. This is a new Winnipeg Jets team that just played a picture-perfect home playoff game and won a 2-1 hockey game.
Picture perfect 2-game home stretch. Like
2-game home stretch. Yeah.
And if they go up 3-0 in game 3, oh man, like we're talking sweep here. And that's something I never thought I'd even say. But I'm not trying to get ahead of ourselves here, but like what a game.
Hey, I get it. I'm hoping
Knocking
you're
on
calling
some
in
legs
Thursday
for the
night to
boys.
talk about the potential sweep.
Like, it's not that far-fetched. Jets are just taking advantage of opportunities. Like, and getting lost, like Connor, finding open ice. Then just the line mates finding him and getting the puck to him. Like, Scheifele's goal was luck, but you got to be lucky to be good and good to be lucky in this league, right? Like,
Yep.
It doesn't matter how it goes in at this point as long as it goes in.
Damn right.
100%. Riley, thank you for the call. Thank you for being here, buddy. Let's hope we're talking about exactly that come Thursday.
Alrighty, have a good one, lads.
You too. Thank you.
You too, bud. Late update. Colorado has lost the lead. Dallas has tied the game with there's about 7:30 left in the third. So that could be a big one. Let's see some overtimes there.
Exactly. We had a little bit earlier tonight with Montreal and Washington. Didn't quite go my way, but all right, we got another call.
Let's go to it.
Hey, caller, you're on the landing strip. What's your name? What would you like to talk about?
What's going on, boys? It's your average Jets fan again.
My man, how you doing?
W today. Good, man. There's no reason to be bad, is there?
No.
With a 2-0 series lead, dominating the play at 5-on-5, and Connor Hellebuck answering some questions. What is there to be feeling bad about right now?
I know he was using the blue paint that Ottawa was talking about. They should tell Allmark about it. No, but I just really wanted to say that the top line once again, and I was saying this while watching with my dad because he's kind of like a more casual hockey fan. I was like, the top line did top line things, and they continue to. And while unfortunately I do think Scott Arniel puts Gabe Velarde back on the top line, Alex Iafallo needs to be in this top six. Like, he can't be a fourth line player, man. He's too good. He's too good. Like, I think Ehlers, Lowry, Iafallo would be a damn good line.
You're speaking my language. I'm all for it. We'll see when Ehlers is back. I don't know if that one's going to be as soon as Velarde. It doesn't sound that way. But hey, if we can get to that point, you're speaking my language big time.
100%. But the main thing that I wanted to call about is that I truly believe the Winnipeg Jets have the best left side in the whole NHL. A combo of Josh Morrissey and Dylan Samberg is just elite. No other team can match that. And the fact that we have the luxury of playing them 50 minutes a night is just amazing. Off the top of my head, I really don't care what other team can match us because Josh Morrissey and Dylan Samberg both play both ends of the ice. And one thing that I haven't given Jomo enough credit for is that he uses his damn body. Like, he's not Justin Coughlin, but when he's hip to hip with some guy, he's getting put into the boards one way or another at least. But for those Jets fans who don't feel that way about Dylan Samberg, look at the analytics on JFresh, watch him, and just look at everything that he prevents happening before it becomes a problem.
Oh, often. And most of the time it's like him in stride just pacing with a guy and stopping the play before it's even starting. It's impressive.
Oh, it's just amazing. And I think from him to go from a third pair guy to someone that I really think is easily a slave-in shutdown defenseman, I am going to be singing the praises of Kevin Cheveldayoff, but I will feel bad for Dylan Samberg in the summer because his point totals are going to automatically devalue the amount of money that he will get, and it sucks. But one other thing that Mikey talked about is Mason Appleton is terrible, man. He is terrible.
Having a rough go with it. Definitely having a rough go. Hey, your average Jets fan, thanks for calling in, man. It's always great to hear from you. Let's see where this goes Thursday, but this team continues to completely give us reasons. Mikey, I want to ask you, what do you think about the Winnipeg Jets having the best left side with Dylan Samberg and Josh Morrissey?
Man, it's that's one I'd really want to dig into because we're kind of nearing that point. I talked about it earlier. They've got two number one defensemen on the left-hand side right now. Either one can play your number one minutes. Either one can take your number one pairings. Either one can be, can handle all of that. So at the moment, they've got the ability to run two number one pairings. Now, I'd want to really run through each team to see if that is the best combo right across the board. But, man, hard to make an argument against it the way that they're playing.
What's really nice about them, and he touched on the idea that you could run those guys 50 minutes, and it's such a luxury. And it's the contrast of the two and how differently they do it. Like Josh Morrissey, his entire complete game and his emergence and his development in his late 20s into his early 30s has been remarkable to watch. And like he impacts the game at every level. And then Dylan Sandberg, who's still, I think, a work in progress. We've talked about his offensive game emerging, but he's that just shutdown guy you could trust out there against any team's top guy, which then frees up Josh Morrissey potentially to play against lower competition, which he could take over and completely control a game with his puck control and how he sees the game. It's an incredible contrast. The one that stands out to me is within the division with Heiskanen and Harley. That's quite the debate between those two.
Yeah.
But hey, what a luxury to have
to even be in
two
the debate.
pairings. Two pairings run by Dylan Sandberg and Josh Morrissey.
Ready for the next call?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's take calls. Let's go.
Hey, caller, thanks for holding. You're on the landing strip now. What's your name? What would you like to talk about?
Hey, boys, it's King Canadian. I hadn't called for a while. I thought I'd bless you with my voice.
Hell yeah.
How's it going,
Let's
boys?
go. How you doing, buddy?
Nice
How
to
you
hear
doing?
from you.
I'm doing not too bad. Got a couple things I figured I'd talk about. One, I'm starting to get worried here, boys. I was a little nervous going into the playoffs, thinking it was the Jets of the past, and I'd be good. I don't like sharing too much personal information online, but my wife's pregnant with a baby. It's supposed to be in the middle of May, and I'm going to be busy holding her hand watching Jets playoffs, I think.
Yes, sir.
I'm starting to think so. I think you're going to have a Jets baby born late in the season here. Congrats, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Does that mean I got to make his middle name Jet?
As long as it's not Chevy.
Hey, you might have to do.
Never be
you might have to. You might have to do Kyle or Connor, man. I don't know.
There you go.
I might.
Connor's a good one.
If Logan Stanley weighs one more person out, maybe it'll be Logan.
That would be peak story. Hey, Dad, why is my middle name Logan?
Let me tell you, son. Sit down. We got a tale for you.
It's that old meme about why is my sister's name Rose, and then Anyways, more serious. Couple things I've been very impressed with this team so far in the playoffs. Last year, the Jets go down by one. Talking about first game, go down by one. They give up in the third. Game's over. Last year, the Jets up by one in the third. We also lose that game. Completely different team this year. We're down, but we were never out in that game. I was worried, but I never had a doubt. This game, we're up. As soon as he scored, I wasn't worried at all. I knew the boys were going to stuff out. It's completely different than any other Jets team since 2018 that we've watched. It's something special happening here.
I could not agree more, man. Sitting in the rink for both game 1 and 2, honestly, at second intermission and going into the third, perfectly calm, perfectly this game's right about where the Jets want it. Like, I wouldn't have felt that way last year. I wouldn't have felt that way probably the last 5 years, 6 years. But this team has really figured it out, and they continue to do it so consistently.
The other thing I want to shout out is Cole Perfetti. I don't know the heights and weights of every guy on the team, but he's one of the smallest, if not the smallest guys on the team. He is such a nail gun. That guy is – there was a play, and I can't remember if it was in the second or the third, where just before Colton Parayko kind of hit him, not a dirty hit, but Perfetti obviously wasn't prepared to get hit, got took down. The very next play in – Cole Perfetti was a heat-seeking missile, picked out Parayko and smoked him. He kind of knocked him over. And for a little guy to hit a guy that big, and he wasn't afraid at all. And he's been getting laid out the entire series, pops right back up. He's giving hits. I've been impressed with him. Thanks for benching him last year, Bones.
Hey, he's having a great start to these playoffs, answering, I think, questions about how he would convert. And I think we're just waiting for that first offensive moment to happen. And I think the floodgates are going to start to open up there.
I thought he had her on that open net, but
Same.
We'll wait. We'll wait for
It's
game
coming.
winner at home in Game 5. That's what's going to happen. Anyways, boys, have a good night. Good chatting.
Good chat, buddy. He definitely did not want an easy one, right? He's going to
No.
get a nice garbage goal to break things open.
He's going to
Come on
fight
now.
through, and exactly. And so Perfetti is the shortest guy on the team, listed at 5'11", but not the lightest. That belongs to Nikolai Ehlers at 172. Perfetti listed at 185. So Perfetti's about 1, 2, 3. He's about 6th.
Okay, here's a question from our boy Harjivan. Random question, boys, but in regard to the JMO versus Buff debate, I was in the middle of school in 17-18, so I need to ask, where did Buff rank in the peak of his powers? Was he a bona fide top 10? Turd Ferguson said, depending how Buff was feeling that day, when he wanted to be, he was definitely a top 5 D-man in the NHL, dominated however you wanted to play the game. What do you think of that question?
Yeah, if we're talking at the peak of his powers, Dustin Byfuglien on his best day is unquestionably a top 5 defenseman of the National Hockey League. Hard to even... He was so special because he was different. There was nobody like Dustin Byfuglien, an absolute unicorn. There's nobody you can compare it to currently. He was just an absolute force of nature out there. Offensively, defensively, he could play you physically. He could dance you with the puck. He would run you the fuck over. He was absolutely incredible. There is no in my mind still, again, and maybe I've got some graduation goggles on for it still, but there's still no doubt in my mind that Byfuglien is still the best defenseman that the Jets have ever seen step foot on the ice for them. And maybe the best player ever at the peak of his powers. You can maybe start getting into the Connor Hellebuck discussion now that he's really cemented himself. But when it comes to skaters, to me, it's still Dustin Byfuglien.
The Buff story is just so fascinating, too, where he was a right winger for so long, won a cup as a right winger. Only gets moved back to D because the Jets had, 6 defensive injuries, and it was like one of those things like we needed to do. And him and Toby Enstrom make one of the best duos we've seen. I'm starting to be a JMO truther in this. I gotta say, I'm really appreciating Josh Morrissey the more I get to watch him. But yeah, Dustin Byfuglien in his heyday, in his peak, was a top 5. He should have been on some lower votes for the Norris. And yeah, like you said, he was such a unicorn. Offensive dynamo, physical. You wanted to wake up. You wanted Big Buff to be quiet and not wanting to play that night. If you started waking that guy up and poking the bear, you were just in for a night like that. You just should not have bothered with.
Yeah, he was the just absolute embodiment of the Michael Jordan thing, right? Where you get all those videos of players back in the day talking about how Jordan's quiet for the whole game until somebody starts mouthing off, and then he goes off. You've heard similar things about other players with that type of mentality. And that's what you wanted from Byfuglien, right? If you're the opposing team, you did not want him engaged and involved, because if he was, you were going to pay for it. He was absolutely special. And like you said, that combo with Toby Enstrom, that thunder and lightning was so good. Talk about a guy that used his, leverage as opposed to size, and Toby Enstrom knew exactly what to do out there to support a player like Byfuglien. It was just so much fun to watch, and it's a bit of a shame that they didn't get the cups that they, probably would have deserved at some point.
The Enstrom development path was insane, too. Like, he showed up to Winnipeg a 50-point offensive defenseman and then just became the shutdown specialist. Like, to change his career that drastically mid-career.
Yep.
There's some interesting stories throughout the early days of Jets 2.0 here. Interesting comp from Jor, and then I want to go to one of his comments he meant to talk about on the phone. Then we'll get into the 3 stars and get out of here from there. Saying, Jor says, now I'm not old enough to say I watched Shaq, but I'd say Shaq is a close comparable to what Buff was in hockey. Most dominant, but not best in the league. What do you think of that?
I fucking love that. Unfortunately, I am old, so I did get to watch some of that. So yeah, that's great. He was absolutely dominant. Yeah, he wasn't, quote unquote, the best in the league, wasn't winning the awards that a lot of the individual players were seeing at that time, but absolutely one of the most dominant players. If you would have asked anybody at the time, player or fan or pundit, whoever, give me a list of the most dominant players in the league, every one of those lists is going to have Dustin Byfuglien in the first few names back then. So, no, I didn't say prime Shaq. I didn't say I was that old. Hold on now. I didn't say prime. Relax.
Top line Jay, because he did call in, and I'm going to go back to his comment that he forgot to mention. So George says, forgot to mention, Connor has been hilarious.
Oh, God, no. Yeah, Prime Shaq, I did watch those years. I just Googled. Fuck me, I'm old. Fuck.
Jordan on the way out here said, Connor has been hilarious this season. Piss poor play 80% of the time, 1,000,000 points. I'm sorry, but I won't hide my truth. Connor will always be an elite finisher. We're still missing part of that two-way game we've seen a lot this year. And for me, it's felt disjointed at times, just like the lack of connection there. And then when they find it, they create magic. So we'll see where it goes, but I wanted to shout that out. He gave us a call, and he meant to bring that up.
Hell yeah.
And he also points out he's maybe old enough for like Cab Shack.
Cab Shack. God.
Turd also says Shaq is the perfect comp. But let's go into the 3 stars on our way out here.
Let's hit it. Right on.
Noted old guy Mikey.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Who's your 3 stars tonight?
Oh, man. I had a tough one on this one because there's a lot of guys that were really good tonight. So 3rd star, bounce back game, Connor Hellebuck. I'm going to start him off there. Those 3 saves real early on showed us that he was dialed in and that we were going to get back to his regular day at the office. So I was glad that we got to see him be big, boring Hellebuck once again, the game that got him to this point. So Connor Hellebuck, number 3 for the bounce back. Number 2 is where I had the most trouble tonight, so I'm going to cop out, and I'm giving multiple 2nd stars tonight. It's going out to Josh Morrissey, who I don't give enough credit to each and every fucking game, and he is so incredibly good. Mark Scheifele, again, like you said, it's his playoffs. We're all just living in it. And I'm going to, again, Cole Perfetti, who was so close to getting on the board. He did get his first playoff point tonight, so shout out to that. That was the first one. He gets it at home. The goal is going to come. He's doing everything right. So they're all going to share number 2 for me. I don't care that it's a cop-out. And number 1, we've talked about him all night. This was his debutante game. Dylan Sandberg, man, he's here to show us all that he's a number 1 defenseman. So this is a number 1 star. That's our guy tonight, Dylan Sandberg.
Okay, I'm going to go, because of that early tide, you know what? I'll go Hellebuck 3rd star, keeping it to 1 goal, answering some questions. Let's go with the MVP. Number 2, I will go Dylan Sandberg, arriving and just being that defensive presence that cleans everything up out there. Just a massive development.
Incredible.
My story of the year is Dylan Sandberg. And number 1, he's been the best player in both games. He's their number 1 center. 5 points in 2 games now. Con Scheif. Mark Scheifele as my number 1 star in this one. Colorado, Dallas going to OT. 5-2 in LA, Edmonton. Woo. We're going to take off from here. Want to thank you all for being here. Thanks for being a part of this. The last show did awesome, so keep sharing and subscribing. I know Frosty Winnipeg keeps bugging me for these super chats you can get on here. We need to get to 500 subscribers during this run so Frosty can put up some super chats that we could talk about. Be a friend, tell a friend, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for being here. As much as I enjoy being at the games, and that environment is something to behold, it's great to be here with all of you after each and every game. We'll talk to you Thursday.
Good night, everybody.